On today's show, the LA Clippers close out the 3-game road trip with a big win against the Atlanta Hawks in Bogdan Bogdanovic's return. The run that changed the game in the third quarter. What were the keys to turning what looked like a sluggish start around into a big-time win as we return home on today's Locked On Clippers?
You are Locked On Clippers, your daily Los Angeles Clippers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, sir. You are locking in with the Clips. Thank you for making Locked On Clippers the first listen of your day, your team every day. I'm your host, Darian Vaziri, born and raised in LA. In my 20th season as a Clipper fan, 5th year covering the Clippers on my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, and 3rd year right here on Locked On Clippers. You can subscribe on YouTube and listen wherever you get your podcasts. And Locked On Clippers has a daily newsletter written by yours truly. Go to LockedOnDaily.com to sign up for it. This episode is also brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LockedOnNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. All right, in this one, Clipper Nation, we're going to be talking about the huge run that the Clippers went on in that third quarter that changed the entire game after we trailed by as many as 11 points in this one. Ended up winning 121-98. The run in that third quarter was absolutely special. I'm going to be talking about that as well as Kawhi Leonard. I've been basically doing a segment on Kawhi Leonard every single game because that's what this is all about. Like, I know some people might not like it, but this team is all about Kawhi Leonard. And we run in the big picture how he runs. And then the Ivica Zubac, James Harden combination and more. But that third quarter run. So I just want to say we were very sluggish, in my opinion, to start this game. Our defense wasn't great. Several guys were not up to speed defensively, in my opinion. Zubac there were a couple of times he just let somebody come to the basket and lay it up without any contest, without any urgency, which is very unlike him this season. And then James Harden, I mean, this was just until the second half where he had a couple of classic Harden swipes. He was just standing up straight and letting everyone and anyone blow by him. So it was making things tough. I just thought as a team, we didn't have a very high sense of urgency to begin this game. But what a run. We were down 61-53 going into the second half. 61-53. But in that second half, our defensive intensity turned up to another level. An immediate 13-0 run off the bat. I'm sorry, an 11-0 run. 11-0 run went from down 53-61 to 64-61. And it all starts with Chris Dunn's ball pressure defensively against Trae Young. I mean, it was amazing the way he was chasing around screens and staying in the rear view. So Trae Young couldn't just come off those screens. Even though we're in drop coverage, he is right there. Zubac is backing up, and Trae looks like he thinks for a second that he can walk into those threes, but there's Chris Dunn right behind him getting in his rear view. I mean, even I was watching it on the Hawks broadcast because, again, Stream East, don't have my cable provider, all that. Bob Rathbun and Dominique Wilkins, they were singing the praises of Chris Dunn big time. And they've kind of had their own guy in Dyson Daniels that's been, a pest defensively, really good hand. They're trying to make a case for him to be a defensive team guy. I can't really judge the same way because, we see Chris Dunn every night. You got to go to Locked On Hawks to hear about the Dyson Daniels show. But I'll tell you this, the game was tied at 67, and then we were up 88-69. So it was a 21-2 run. I'm sorry, 21-2 run to end the quarter. I mean, 67-67. It looked like it was going to be, we're going down, potentially going down to the wire in this fourth quarter in Atlanta. And then all of a sudden, we hit them with an absolute, it was 19-0 run. Absolute haymaker. And it starts with our defense, our defensive pressure. Kawhi Leonard, hands in the passing lanes. He had a great defensive game in terms of off the ball in this one. 5 steals for Kawhi. But in that third quarter, we outscored them 35 to, wait for it, 8. 35-8. It changed the game. It was the reason we won. It was our defensive pressure led by Chris Dunn. Ivica Zubac's last line of defense. But, even James Harden getting some swipes in there. It was just a testament to our defense and how great it's been this season. I thought we were lazy in the first half. That's not going to fly against better teams. Atlanta's very mediocre. They're essentially the definition of mediocre in today's NBA. No offense to any Hawks fans listening. But when we get to clamp down defensively, being a top 5 defense that we are, so it's hard for a team with just one star to beat us. And, there was no Jalen Johnson in this game for the Atlanta Hawks. So they're starting Trae Young, Dyson Daniels, Mo Gay, Zachary Risachet, and Onyeka Okongwu. So with the left shoulder surgery that Jalen Johnson's going through, they don't have him. The onus is, they don't even have Clint Capella there. The onus is really on Trae Young to create every time down the floor. So if we get to limit him, then the rest, it takes care of itself. 35-8 third quarter. Talk about holding a team to single digits in today's NBA in a quarter. That's big time. Nico Batum, how about him getting minutes? These defensive things, I don't want to say achievements or accomplishments. Those aren't the right words, but defensive moments, you can say, in games. A lot of time, Nico's out there for them. 8 minutes in that third quarter. We had 7 steals and 2 blocks in the quarter. Made them turn it over 8 times, and they shot 4 for 23. Now, you might be wondering, was it good defense or bad offense? They missed some easy looks for sure. They went cold, but they went cold because it started with our lockdown defense, and they kind of got out of rhythm. And then we were scoring. James Harden was knocking down that 3 ball. It really all started with James Harden finding Nico Batum for 3. And then he hit a step back 3. And after that, we were pretty much rolling. Ben Simmons was fantastic as well. Oh my God. 2 fast break dimes to Derrick Jones Jr. on the break. And then you saw him do a little tween hook shot, like running hook with the right hand. That's when you knew Ben Simmons was really making an impact, getting some steals as well. Ben Simmons, welcome back, doing his thing in that third quarter. And in this one for the Clippers, I just thought he was everywhere. And then James Harden, 13 points in the third quarter. He really, really turned up. 4 for 5 shooting. He played the entire thing. And in the game, Ben Simmons, off the bench for the Clippers, finished with 2 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals on 1 for 4 shooting in 17 minutes. And honestly, that doesn't do him justice, but he was a +10 in the plus minus, and it does not lie in this one. But coming up, going to talk about Kawhi Leonard and how he looks in another game as we get closer to the postseason. I got to tell you a little something about DoorDash. NBA fans, get ready. They swoosh, you save. Thanks to Dash Pass, every time a player drops 50 or more points in a game, you score a huge deal the next day. It's simple. When any player scores 50 or more in a game during the 24-25 regular season, Dash Pass members get 50% off an order, up to $10 off, the next day from noon to midnight. Whether you're staying up watching highlights or just need a midnight snack or watching games late after they happen like me, use Dash Pass to grab something delicious while saving big. I do it all the time because I eat so late. I'm watching games so late. Sign up for Dash Pass and be ready to save. When any player scores 50 or more points in a game, Dash Pass members get 50% off an order the next day, up to $10 off. Just use promo code NBA50 from noon to midnight after a 50-point game on eligible orders at participating merchants. Must have an active Dash Pass account. Terms apply. Visit DoorDash to learn more. I got to tell you a little something about FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. March Madness is here, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's 200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories and even who's cutting down the nets. I'm going with, I don't know about USC winning the whole thing for the women's bracket. UCLA's got a good chance as well. For the men's, I don't know, but Duke did win the tournament. So we'll see if they carry that momentum into the NCAA tournament. Visit fanduel.com and get in on the college hoops action all tournament long. All right, Clippers winning this one by a score of 121-98, led by a 19-0 run in that third quarter that James Harden spearheaded offensively, Chris Dunn spearheaded defensively. We outscored them 35-8 in the third quarter for a 121-98 win in the return of Bogey to Atlanta. They gave him a really nice video tribute. Bogey came off the bench because the starting lineup was Zoo, James, Kawhi, Chris Dunn, and Nico, who is still in the starting lineup. Not Derrick Jones Jr., not Bogey, but I'll tell you, Bogey came off the bench and gave us double-figure points, and what I say about Bogey, he's the X factor for this team. When he plays well, we win. When he doesn't play well, seems like we lose in this post-trade deadline version of this Clipper team. He had 12 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, just 1 turnover on 4 for 6 shooting, and made both his threes off the bench. Loved what I saw from Bogey. Now, and Amir Coffey had 2 really nice passes to him in the beginning of that second quarter because we went on a 7-0 run to begin the second. And you know what I loved? To begin each quarter, second and third, it started with a Kawhi Leonard steal and a Kawhi Leonard bucket on the break. And Kawhi, I thought, really played in the flow of the offense in this game. It didn't feel like too much forcing it, but at all. But there were moments where he was starting to go ISO, starting to feel himself a bit, and it was really, really encouraging. The only thing I'll say is he just doesn't really seem to get anything easy. You know, he doesn't get the step on guys very much. He's really having trouble, blowing past guys. And there was one time where he got blocked from behind at the rim. I believe it was in the first half, yeah. And Dominique Wilkins made the comment 2 years ago he would have dunked that. And he's probably right, to be honest. Maybe 4 years ago it would have been a little more certain. But there's no secret that Kawhi is looking to step slower. I don't know if he's going to look speed-wise like 2024, but I will say this. The shot making is slowly coming back, it seems. We're looking at another 25-point game in this one. 6 boards, 2 assists, 5 steals. If we're talking activity on both ends, I thought this was a really solid game for him. One of the steals just came to him. It wasn't like he made a play on the ball or anything in the first one. But still, really active hands. I only mentioned that because it didn't feel like he had 5 steals when I saw it. And then I looked back and I looked at the steals on NBA.com, the visual box score. And one of them just came right to him. So that's probably why I didn't think that. Because the thing was, I watched this game after it happened, obviously. And I saw everybody talking about Kawhi having so many steals. And I was like, damn, was it one of those games where he was just like taking everything? And I don't think it was quite one of those games, but he did deflect the ball 4 times, and then one of them came to him, and that's great activity. Great activity. You love to see that. 11 for 21 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3. That's the only part that was like, eh. And also free throws, 2 for 4 from the foul line. So that's got to clean up a little bit. But remember what I said. We're going to look at his 3-ball and his non-rim paint buckets. Non-rim paint buckets look pretty good in this one. That short mid-range was looking fantastic. 3-ball still not great this month for some reason. But 25 points for Kawhi. Super efficient overall from the field. By the way, poor Terrence, man, love him to death. He was getting cooked. He can't guard Kawhi. I think he knew that. Fouled him on a jump shot. Got a reverse layup scored on him. Got a little fadeaway scored on him. I mean, it was great to see from Kawhi. He's had 25 plus in his last 2 games. Again, he's averaging 24 points this month. So he's slowly starting to get there, Clipper Nation. We've got 15 more games to get it right. But I think this game was absolutely a step in the right direction, and we're continuing to get him in the right direction. He's now up to 19 points per game on the season, which, as I said, we're getting there. 46.5% shooting, which is not his typical insanely efficient self. And the three ball, 36% right now. I think the worst one is the free throw shooting. I don't know why that's been so bad, but he's at 74%, which would be a career low. So that's a little bit strange. But we're trending in the right direction with Kawhi, in my opinion. You start to see some of the fadeaways, acrobatic finishes. There were some really acrobatic finishes he had, and it was great to see. Kawhi Leonard, ladies and gentlemen. But you know who else I want to talk about is Chris Dunn. How he could impact a game going 0 for 4 and missing his only three and not shooting one free throw in 22 minutes. Like, it's crazy to describe how he helped change that game with 0 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, and a block. But he didn't turn the ball over, and he was just everywhere. Those are the kind of guys that are guys that will play on teams with deep playoff aspirations where you can impact a game with 0 points. However, against higher level opposition, you probably won't get away with 0 points. But my point is, you don't have to score a lot to be effective. And Chris Dunn, another game with 20-plus minutes as he slowly is making his case for that all-defensive team. And you know who probably is not going to make an all-defensive team, but he's been damn good defensively all year, is Derrick Jones Jr. Continues to do whatever's asked of him, whether it's come off the bench, whether it's start, comes into the game, gets out on the break and runs. He was 0 for 4 from the three-point line, but he was 5 for 6 from 2, 5 for 10 overall in the game, 4 for 5 from the free throw line, 14 points, 2 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block, and no turnovers in 23 minutes off the bench for your LA Clippers. So between Bogey, Ben Simmons, Derrick Jones Jr., huge performance. And how about Amir Coffey? 5 for 9 from the field, 2 for 3 from deep, had 3 assists, made some great passes. 1 cross court to Bogey, another one on the break, 1 steal, no turnovers. Our entire bench had a combined 1 turnover, and it was Bogey. You love to see that because James Harden had 6 turnovers, so he's still been a little high turnover, but considering, again, the passes that he makes on a consistent basis, can't really blame him. They turned the ball over 18 times, and we had 26 points off those turnovers. We turned the ball over 14 times. So, it's just a great win. 121-98. Kawhi Leonard looking more like himself. Clippers are 37-30 now on the season. 15 games left as they return home and face the Charlotte Hornets on Sunday. But coming up, going to talk about James Harden and Ivica Zubac. I got to tell you a little something about Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in. Your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place so you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals. Managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNBA for half off your first year. All right, so the Clippers winning this one 121-98 over the Atlanta Hawks. Sweep them on the season. We have now won 5 out of our last 6 games, and a big reason for that is James Harden, who's honestly playing some of his best ball of the season. And in this game, he was carving the defense apart like he has so often done, and he is so one of the best of all time at doing. When they were in drop coverage, sliding those pocket passes over to Zoo, who just seems to be automatic within 8 feet of the basket these days. That push shot is going crazy with both hands. I mean, it's amazing. And in this game, Onyeka Okongwu was guarding Zoo. Dyson Daniels was on James Harden. Mo Gay was on Chris Dunn. Trae Young was on Nico Batum. And Reese Shea was on Kawhi. Of course, they switch 1 through 4. Onyeka and drop. Later on, they're starting to throw 2 on the ball. You get Zoo in that short roll. He can get that floater off. There's not much you can do. You want to switch a small on a Zoo? That's not going to work because then you'll have 2 mismatches, the big on James and the small on Zoo. And we're starting to get better at feeding Zoo on that. So that Zoo Harden pick and roll, one of the best pick and roll tandems in the NBA right now this season. There's no doubt about it. On our part, Chris Dunn on Trae Young, James Harden on Dyson Daniels, Zoo on Okongwu, Kawhi on Gay, and Nico on Reese Shea. Of course, Zubats in drop coverage, which he is so great at doing. But as I said, thought in the first half he was a little bit lazy. Second half, much better. But Terrence, man, I want to see how did he do in this game? I haven't even looked at his stat line yet. 9 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, no turnovers on 4 for 8 shooting, 1 for 5 from 3. But he was letting it fly with a little more confidence, I noticed, in 27 minutes. But, love Terrence. But Clippers win. That's all that I care about. So happy with Ben Simmons, honestly. By the way, that first half, we were a little sluggish, but we were also just missing shots too, especially Harden and Kawhi. Then they started getting going. But Ben Simmons, I was so happy to see what he was doing in that third quarter. It was looking special. Nico Batum. By the way, we had some big plays to end each quarter and to start each quarter. I thought that was really good for momentum pushing. Harden with a little Euro step at the end of the first quarter. And then at the end of the second quarter, we had that Nico Batum 3-ball at the buzzer. And by the way, we had a lineup with Zoo out of the game. We didn't play Eubanks in this one. It was all 6'4" and above players. Kawhi, DJ, Ben Simmons, Amir Coffey, Bogey. Not bad at all. And it starts with Ben Simmons, able to get steals, drive and kick. And then, of course, Kawhi as well, getting steals. 5 steals in this one, as I said. Zoo in the post, cooking. But, I mean, it's just great to see Nico Batum getting more minutes. Maybe this was the plan all along. Or I guess I just called it. I don't know. I think it was the plan all along, maybe. 11-7 for Nico. 3 offensive rebounds. And his defense is great. 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 1 turnover on 4 for 8 shooting and 3 for 5 from 3. So 11-7 to go along with 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block on 50, 60 splits in 23 minutes. I mean, he is just the ultimate glue guy, isn't he? But Zubats, 18 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, just 2 turnovers on 8 for 9 shooting in 30 minutes. I mean, are you kidding me? It's getting ridiculous. He's playing at such a high level. That Zubats Harden combo, it's really coming a long way, or come a long way. But you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Dime Dropper Pod. Subscribe to my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, for even more LA Clipper and LA sports content. And Locked On Clippers is free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you are signed up for the Locked On Clippers newsletter at lockedondaily.com. And also, I'll be checking in with y'all on Monday after the Clippers Hornets game. That should be a win for us. I will not be there, though. So hopefully we can get the job done. 15 games left, Clipper Nation. Kawhi Leonard should be playing in that one. So it is going to be a fun one. A new week, a new chance to get to 40 wins, potentially. The age-old proverb continues. Go Clippers.